Good morning, everyone. This is a video that's a little bit overdue. I've been thinking about this topic for a couple of weeks now. And the topic is shame. It's one of the emotions um, that a lot of us carry around, and it's about everything that the shame is always associated to our ideas about how things should be. It's the should that causes the shame, because if things are not as they should be, then we are to blame, and we are somehow not worthy, or we are somehow not good enough, and we haven't achieved what we were supposed to achieve, or we were not good enough as parents. So many things related to should that then causes shame, because we didn't follow the should, and therefore we are to be ashamed about ourselves. And it's a very toxic emotion, right? It's a very toxic place to be in, because it is preventing you from, first of all, just giving yourself a break, realizing that there are actually no shoulds. Life has a rhythm of its own, it has a pace of its own, and each individual life has its own rhythm and pace. And to compare where we are or what we are doing with another life is like sort of comparing two songs with completely different rhythms and melodies, and saying that this particular song is bad because it doesn't sound like this one, which on the face of it is a ridiculous thing to say, right? The other reason it is toxic is that it is the tool by which our inner critic keeps us in our place. So I have this image, when I think about shame, there are several things that come up for me. A lot of it is related with the way I parented, or the way I behaved, the honesty with which I conducted my life, whether I was living in integrity or not. So let me just take up an image that comes in my mind often about when I feel shame. It's about a trip. This is before I had my daughter. My son was about 4 years old, 4.5 maybe. We were traveling from Dulwich to Birmingham in England, where my husband was doing a locum job. It was over the weekend, and we were going to visit him. And I had made these egg sandwiches, which it was almost the first time I had made them, and they smelled awful, because I don't know what I had done. I think just the way I had packed it, or how long it had been since. They were not spoiled, but they didn't smell good. But I was very proud of them, and I wanted my son to really enjoy them, and he didn't want to eat it, and I didn't want to buy something on the train, and I insisted on him eating it. And even now when I talk about it, I cringe, because I made him feel bad. I made him feel as if he was doing something wrong when he was being honest. And it is manipulation that we as parents do a lot, right? Don't do this, because don't do that, because it'll make me feel bad. And that's cringe. That is a shameful way to parent. And I know that, and I agree that it is a shameful way to parent. But the thing is, the shame exists because we think we are always supposed to be perfect. So if we allow ourselves frailty as a parent, if we allow ourselves frailty as a human being, if we allow ourselves to say that sometimes we are not perfect, And in fact, most of the time we are not perfect. And that's fine, because that is part of life. That is the joy in life. The problem comes when we use something like that incident and we constantly bring it up to ourselves as an example of how we are not good enough, how we should have been better, but we were not, and therefore we need to feel shame. And what I learned to do is to sort of rest back and say, true, that was not a stellar moment in my parenting, but hey, that's fine. I am allowed to be a not good parent. And there are moments, it was the letting go of the shame, acknowledging that it was not a really great moment, but allowing myself that not really great moment that allows me to fully accept myself, right? So I've talked about how a lot of my coaching is about radical self-acceptance, and one of the key aspects of radical self-acceptance is to know that there are parts of you, that the entire spectrum of human emotion and behavior is reflected in you. So there are parts of you that are evil in certain ways, that want the destruction of another person, and there is the other aspect of you that is standing up and just helping another person to shine and be there for everyone. That entire spectrum is reflected in us. And in order to be full human beings, not perfect human beings, but full, alive human beings, that entire spectrum needs to be welcomed into our heart and not shunned, because every time we shun something like that, we also allow it to propagate in the external world outside of us, because then life is showing us this is something that we have to heal. So honestly, the way to world peace is to peace within yourself, and the way to peace within yourself is complete, unabashed self-love, and bringing in these images of imperfect parenting or imperfect moments when you were an imperfect wife or an imperfect husband or an imperfect daughter are all ways in which you bring peace within yourself, and as a result of that the greater the peace within you, the greater the peace without. And so the biggest thing you can do to bring about world peace is to learn to accept yourself fully. So I hope this is a useful video for you today. I do have guided meditations in which I deal with each of these emotions, such as anger, hate, shame, guilt, and visualize actually bringing it all into your heart and integrating it into your energy. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. My email is in the description box, and we can set up a free 60-minute call to see if that type of meditation is something you need in your life right now. God bless you.